Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Daily Bone Podcast, Thursday, September 12th, here to discuss all things crypto market, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, meme coins, and NFTs. Today, we're going to discuss the great CryptoPunk heist. Okay, I wasn't familiar with this clearly coined event that happened, the CryptoPunk heist. Coinbase is releasing the cbBTC wrapped Bitcoin token on Ethereum and on Base, and we are going to revisit Monday's meme coin picks. I saw that Ray was tweeting about that and actually posting who was successful and who wasn't. Before I get going, how we doing, gang? What's going on? Easy, how you doing?
Alive and well, my friend. Doing well. I'm currently in Malaysia. I think Malaysia has the best food in Asia. I'm saying it with confidence.
I saw you tweeting about that, and I was getting pretty fucking...
You ready for this? You ready for this? Wagyu steak, A5. Take a guess how much it cost.
$8?
Little more, $12.
$12.
But sorry. $12 for the Wagyu steak, the rice, the miso soup, and a side of French fries. So
beef rendang. Rendang,
dude, you name it. So they have this spot here. It's not called Time Out Market. It's like actually like a pretty common thing in the States too. It's a bunch of local restaurants. So Boston is a timeout. Yes, it's one of the few in the U.S. There are all these local restaurants that are in one place. So this is all these small local Malaysian restaurants. They have Japanese focus. They have an Italian spot. Obviously, went to a steak spot called the Meat Market. You pick out the steak before. There's a shelf of everything you can imagine: sirloins, tenderloins, Wagyu, cut up strip, you name it. And they just you pick it out. You see exactly what you're getting, how marbled it is, the quality from A1 to A5, you name it. And then they just cook it right in front of you. I literally arrived here. Traffic's a little bad, so I will say that's the one downside of Malaysia. Decent amount of traffic. Airport's pretty far. But other than that, so far, Malaysia's been the best food I've had in Asia, hands down.
I agree with that, Easy. I would say it's not my number one, but I would say it's my number two. I would definitely say it's my number two. The food is just, it's just another one of these
quality, process that they make it, and cost. Those three. Because Vietnam had good food for sure. Depends on where you go. It can be a little bit more expensive. Like if you go and get street meat and other things like that, it's obviously cheaper. But restaurants so far in Malaysia, significantly cheaper than anywhere else. South Korea is actually fairly expensive. Quality of food also very good. But the price, especially in Seoul, pretty expensive. And so I'm in
Singapore
Kuala Lumpur.
Will be a good comparison for you. When you go to Singapore, I think you'll find it'll be a good comparison because some of the negatives that you're talking about Malaysia, I think Singapore has it on the positives, and the food scene is not too dissimilar. So Pio, you're going to be there as well. So you're kind of going to get some of the Malaysian gastronomy, but hands down, I do think Malaysia, top three of Southeast Asia by far.
Yeah. So Singapore, forgive me if I'm ignorant. Singapore is like Malaysia, right?
It's Malaysia. So similar to Vatican in Italy, similar idea. It's a city state. Yes. So it broke off. It's its own small country that's part of the very southern tip of Malaysia. So I didn't know that. Obviously, I thought Singapore was like an island or something. Turns out it's literally part of Malaysia. They're not Malaysian. They're Singaporean. That's the one thing too. But yeah, I have heard the food's very similar. The only people that combated it, my tweet saying I think Malaysia has the best food so far, were people that say Japan. Well, I haven't done Japan yet, but it's also
expensive. Japan's expensive. That's the thing. So every bite, you're oh, this is so good, but it costs so much money.
So I've heard the sushi, stuff like that is fairly affordable there. You can get a lot of that stuff fairly affordable.
It depends where you eat in Japan, but I would say on an everyday basis, your money goes way further in Malaysia than it does in either Singapore or Japan. But the thing about Singapore is, even though, it sort of originated-ish from Malaysia, it got cut off, the way that economy has grown over the last, let's say since the 1950s, it's a tiger mama. It's straight up dictator. I'm blanking on the name of the president who basically turned it into a tiger economy. So it's grown much faster than Malaysia and is much more developed. But still, you won't care about that. Well, you will when you see the airport. But apart from that, the food is very similar. So you're going to have an amazing time, Pio. And you can also pop over to Malaysia. It's literally across the bridge.
Yeah, it's a 45-minute flight to Kuala Lumpur. It's so close.
That's what I was just looking at. Is it raining every day there, Easy?
No, not at all. So I think I'm definitely like my perception's a little bit skewed because like Miami, it says it rains every day, but it doesn't. When I was in Vietnam for last week, it said thunderstorms every single day I was there. It rained once at 10 p.m. for 45 minutes. And I was like on the coast. So it's very similar to that where they're like, oh, it's going to rain. I'm sure it rains in a part of the country, but very on and off. Like it's very much, it is their rainy season. So like you probably will catch rain here and there, but the humidity is probably the biggest negative because it's humid as hell. Like it is extremely humid.
Got it. Okay. But it's going to be humid in Singapore too. All right. We're going to see. We'll figure out what we're doing. Yeah, we'll figure it out. It's going to be a lot of fun. I just can't wait to eat like some good food. If Japan's super expensive, it's just going to be like, all right, cool. I'm going to New York, just in another country. But I know Japanese food is probably like unbelievable. Well, look, let's get into it. Speaking of Singapore, today's show is in partnership with one of my favorite partners that we work with at this organization, Karate Combat. So our team, you've seen us go to 2 Karate Combat events thus far. Damn, that was a head kick knockout right there. I don't know if I've even seen that knockout from Karate Combat. That was crazy. Anyway, we've gone to 2 events. We went to Austin and Nashville, and we're going to be at the Singapore event at Token 2049, September 18th. So 6 days from now, damn, if I was fighting on this card, I'd be starting to get the butterflies because this is only 6 days away. The card is absolutely stacked. The main card, like the actual, real, karatekas, as you call them, like the real karate fighters, is being led by Luis Rocha versus Shazab Rind. So that's going to be an absolute banger. You can look up their previous fights on YouTube. Karate Combat publishes all of their content for free on YouTube because they are smart, and it's led to them growing so much on social media. They have over 2 million followers on Instagram, over 1 million followers, if I'm not mistaken, on YouTube, or at least 500,000, I think, at this point. And they've attracted the attention of major UFC talent, both current and former, whether it comes to competing or when it comes to broadcasting, like Michael Bisping, former UFC champion and current big-time broadcaster and podcaster in the mixed martial arts space, just basically did a follow-along commentary with one of their events. That it was either the Austin one or the Nashville one on his YouTube channel that has hundreds of thousands of subscribers. So it's been very, very, very cool to watch the progress of Karate Combat. And the Influencer Fight Club is the funnest part. So if you see that IFC logo, which Ray has on the screen right now, this is the Influencer Fight Club, which is largely crypto influencers, but every once in a while you get non-crypto influencers too, like Billy from Fire Festival, which attract mainstream attention, like Barstool Sports covering the Billy from Fire Festival fight on the Austin card. It's been incredibly cool. And obviously the Influencer Fight Club is a lot of fun. We saw Nick Carter compete on the last one. This time we're actually going to be seeing Ashley Decan versus Blonde Broker. So if you follow crypto Twitter, you're probably familiar with these 2 gals. Really, really cool, cool people, and going to be an even cooler fight. There's also Barney versus a gentleman named Tactical Investing. You might remember Barney because this is the guy that fought Ansem. So if you remember that guy that was rocking Ansem over and over again, that was this guy. And at this point, he has competed in these different martial arts settings for about 3 years. So this dude's experience, and you see the film right here, his boxing is sharp. I'm about to drop, or I think I actually already dropped my video on this fight and my analysis on this fight, and I got 2 more videos coming for these fights. But we're actually going to be making our picks on the big fights today on the show. So make sure that you download the Up Only Gaming app. You can vote on fighters for a chance to earn karate tokens. It's a really cool mechanic on the Up Only Gaming app. They've structured it in a way which I think is really engaging and fun and gives you the opportunity to win without risking money to lose. So check out the Up Only Gaming app. It's a lot of fun. You can run with our picks. At this point, I think we're getting pretty good at it. If I'm not mistaken, I picked every Influencer Fight Club fight correctly on the previous card. So really, really cool stuff from Karate Combat.
How'd you do on the main card? That's the real question. Because the main card, I'm interested in this. I think we saw one of the headline fighters fight before.
We did at Austin, for example.
Yeah. I believe we saw in Austin. I believe we saw Rind fight previously.
Got it. I'm laser focused on, my job is to cover the IFC. I can't say that I'm an expert on the main card in terms of making picks, but for the IFC, I'm just money. I won money last time betting on Nick Carter. But look, we're gonna dive into this. It's gonna be a lot of fun. We got film on the IFC fighters, so it's gonna be a good time. So why don't we get into this weather report? Just get the show on the road and get cooking.
Yeah, let's get cooking today. It's Thursday. It is September the 12th. We will look at the crypto roundup. The majors, they rallied 2% with Bitcoin just shy of 60,000 at 58, Ethereum at 2,350, and Solana at $135, which is staying in that range. The leading top 100 coin was Sui, which is up 16% on the day to a 2.7 billion market cap. Over the past 24 hours, top 3 stories. Well, firstly, it's the Heist. An ape CryptoPunk was heisted for 10 ETH through defunct fractionalization platform Niftex. The new owner put forth a bid of 10 ETH that was not adequately contested by other fractionalized holders. The punk now has a bid for 600 ETH or $1.4 million. Secondly, next up, Coinbase launched their cbBTC wrapped Bitcoin token on Base and Ethereum networks. DeFi protocol Aave put forth a proposal to support the new wrap token on their platform. And then lastly, finally, some good news is coming to crypto assets for the UK holders, as new legislation has been introduced by the Labour government that would categorize crypto and NFTs as personal property. This categorization will provide additional consumer protections to investors beyond the scope of the current laws. That is all for the weather report this Thursday. It is back to you folks in the studio.
Fantastic weather report as usual, Sig. Why don't we quickly cover this punk heist? So it seems as though it's more of it's not a heist. It wasn't stolen, but rather it was kind of like this snuck across the line.
Savvy smart contract navigation is probably the way that I would explain it. Defunct front page UI. So they took down the site where you could actually try to make these buyouts and votes, because so the way it was done is a fractionalized asset. So you can buy the tokens to own shares of this ape punk. They shut this website down, the front page down. Somebody went into the smart contract and made the call to purchase it for 10 ETH. In order to reject it, you needed a very, 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 very down to the decimal point specific way, WEI and Ray. Is that what it is? Way?
Yeah.
Response, because it's not gas, but a way response in that transaction. So G Money attempted to block it. He had actually thought up until about 3 hours before it went through that he successfully blocked it. He was off by 0.00000001 from the block in the transaction. So you can imagine how frustrating that must be. G Money has now gone on the record and said he does not feel that it was stolen. He feels that it was 2 trillionths of a penny short, apparently. And he does not feel it was stolen. He feels that it was someone who used decentralized applications in a way that they're structured. You have Beanie on the other side of this saying it was stolen. It's a bad actor. It's poor morals. The person who did this, not the right way that this should have gone down. Yeah, as you can see, nobody would have knowingly sold their sale of ownership on an asset at a 99% discount. That's the toughest part here, because I get both sides. I really do. I understand a savvy dev who took advantage of a smart contract, and I also understand the situation here where, like, if you're involved and you held these tokens, now they're worthless, and you're like, shit. All right, it's like also some level of inherent risk. Like, fractionalization of NFTs is very difficult for sure. But I don't know. I almost side with, like, good devs, man. It sucks if the front page of the site gets taken down, it's probably a good move to dump your tokens. Like, I'm sorry. I get they still held some level of value, but you could even go, if you don't want to be in a decentralized environment, you can go onto the app Rally and buy CryptoPunk shares through traditional Web 2 means.
Yeah.
Like, you can, on that app lets you buy shares in a T-Rex skull, shares in a PSA 10 Charizard, and shares of a CryptoPunk. You don't have to worry about some smart contract smoking you out at 99%. Like, that's the tough part here. And I'm like, I want to say that I think the person played by the rules and just beat the system.
Yeah, I mean, look, all I think that this is the product of where we are at with, quote, crypto infrastructure, meaning, you hear me harp on how long it's going to take for the stuff to kind of get settled. Whatever, structure this is. So this structure is fractionalization of a high value NFT asset, right? That's what people own. They own fractional shares of an asset that, obviously holds a lot of value, since there's a bid of $1.5 million on it immediately afterwards, and people held shares of it. It's going to take a lot of time before that structure is fully shaken out to the same level that, for example, crypto exchange infrastructure is shaken out. Like right now, you have a publicly traded company in Coinbase that you can go to in the United States and buy and sell liquid crypto tokens, mostly majors, but some, further down the risk curve too. That is shaken out. It's not like we're still trying to figure out the crypto exchange thing. Last cycle, obviously, there were crypto exchange issues with like FTX and stuff. So when you think about it, even 4 years ago or so, maybe a little bit less than that, 2 years ago, I guess it's actually crazy. It's only been 2 years. That was still being shaken out. So my point is, all this stuff takes like a really, really long time. And this is just a product of that. So I think throw another 4 years at it. That's still nothing. And maybe in 4 years, we're starting to trend towards having legit stuff. But like Easy said, right, the platform is basically down at this point. There's inherent risk there. Like you probably shouldn't have you wouldn't have a lot of money with a bank that's shut down, right? You'd probably get the money out of the bank. So,
well, the difference with the bank is, PO, they send you a letter, and they send you several letters to say they're shutting down. And then eventually, after months of sending you letters saying that your money's there, your money then gets given to a third party where you can go and claim that money if you want. I think what's really interesting about this, when you just step away from the code, is that it just gives a totally like cool vibe to punks. Like if you needed something to kind of make punks just feel cool again, this is it. Like this is the best thing that could have happened to punks this year. And the fact that there's over 500 holders apparently when I was reading through this, and the only person paying attention to it was G Money, and given his provenance with how he got his punk and everything that he went through, it was really fitting that he was the one to try and sort of like to block this bid going through. But unfortunately it didn't happen. But this is why I think even when punk's price is tumbling, you see the visceral reaction that people are having, because they're saying it's a heist. It wasn't right. Beanie saying that this has been stolen. The fact is, there is a visceral emotional reaction to this person having gotten away with it. On any other collection, I don't think people would have cared as much as we are talking about it right now. So I think for the punks narrative, sadly for the holders, but positively for the collection, it's a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's part of like the crypto provenance thing is valid for sure. I wonder how much this one will be remembered. Regardless, I don't know, Ray, do you have any input on this one at all? I just kind of feel like it's an example of early crypto infrastructure and just how long it's going to take for these things to stabilize, because there is going to be a super above board way. Maybe it's through Coinbase, right? And let's say we fast forward 6 years from now. I do think if you have a CryptoPunk, you're going to be able to like take a loan out on it, effectively, like an actual chill loan. Like the CryptoPunk's worth, the CryptoPunk's worth $280,000. I want a $5,000 loan. I can deposit the CryptoPunk into a trusted entity like Coinbase, receive a loan in exchange with a low LTV, $5,000 loan on a $280K asset. Super chill, structure that's actually above board, and you're not like worried about Coinbase going down and losing the punk and blah, blah, blah. What do you think, Ray?
I think that we're going to see more of this first. I think we're going to see a lot of unwinding of these sort of like old protocols, old fractionalization, DAOs, where people take advantage of like stagnant treasuries, things that have been forgotten. But I think I agree with you that eventually infrastructure is going to be in place that like this doesn't happen as frequently. It's just that everything was so new in 2021, 2022, when all the fractionalization, all the DAOs with like joint treasuries kind of were being made, that a lot of them were created without the right safeguards in place. Not saying they did it incorrectly, they just didn't know what the future looked like at that point. That's my take, really.
That's a perfect take, I think. And yeah, unwinding is a great description, like the unwinding of these things that were built early and thus are not bulletproof. So, all right. Well, anyway, moving on from the punk, we'll see what happens there. Oh, go ahead.
Quickly, want to jump in. How much do you think G Money bought his ape for?
His ape punk?
Yeah.
I believe it was a record-setting sale at the time. If in US dollar terms, I believe it was something like $130,000 or $160,000.
Yeah, right on the money. 150K. They haven't sold under $1 million afterwards.
That's what made him G Money. Bought it and it was the highest sale up to that point. And then he wrote a thread about it, and the kind of rest is history in the NFT, lore for that guy.
Instant 10x, dude. My God.
And size.
It was a good move. He was early. That's what being early is literally that, like being early and making a monster bet during COVID. Anyway, so Coinbase's cbBTC, this was launched on Base and Ethereum. Aave put forth a proposal to support cbBTC. Beanie's take was that Coinbase cbBTC is a massive driver for Bitcoin price going forward. There's simply going to be a substantial supply shortage at some point as DeFi on Base becomes a thing and its currency of choice is Bitcoin. Simple economics. Really, look at that take from Beanie. Look, the biggest thing here is that we're talking about Coinbase and Base. We're talking about a legitimate entity that's not going to go anywhere by the blue chip publicly traded crypto exchange in the United States, arguably the only active, besides the miners, the only like software based, publicly traded technology company that's focused on crypto in the United States. Michael Saylor's MicroStrategy does not count compared to Coinbase. I do think we're going to get more. I think we'll get a stable coin. We'll get another exchange going public in the next 2 to 3 years. But right now, all we have is Coinbase. So you have a wrapped Bitcoin product that's existing on Base and Ethereum. It's interesting for Ethereum too. I don't know. Easy. What do you think?
It's tough. I mean, like, I want to say the thing here is like a cbBTC. It provides just another level of legitimacy for people to buy this asset, which is interesting. They say the substantial supply shortage, sure, just because now this means Coinbase has to hold some for wrapped assets, giving the liquidity to it. I still think the bigger driver is the ETFs, like significantly outweigh it, like TradFi Capital.
Of fucking course, yes.
Yeah, but that's just me. Like, I don't think this is like a huge game changer for sure. It's an ERC20. Awesome. So it's ETH and Base. The nice thing about it is with Base, being able to buy this, hold it, and transact with it, it's near instant and near gasless. So the use of these funds on Base is way more interesting to me because it opens up DeFi opportunities, essentially with Bitcoin in a realm that traditionally hasn't been possible. So when you look from like a DeFi perspective of like how to navigate and leverage funds in a more interesting manner, I think that's probably the best way to describe DeFi. Interesting. It's not better. It's not worse. It's more creative. That's kind of where I look at it. And that's why I think this.
It'll be better in like 8 years.
For sure. I mean, dude, you're talking about these loans. I feel like a company is way more eager to loan against cbBTC than even people who have custodied Bitcoin. And I think even because you got to think like, that Coinbase has this asset and Base is a permissioned blockchain. So if some shit goes south, you at least have the backing of Coinbase to freeze a chain and roll it back if there's some massive exploit. You know what I mean? Like we even saw Blast roll back post that giant hack that happened where there was 8-9 figures of scammed funds. So like some people scream for decentralization, but I look at something like this where now I'm like, this feels better, especially in 5 to 10 years when I think Base is going to continue to scale. I'm like crazy bullish on Base personally. I have been for a while. I just think it makes the most sense for a Coinbase chain for like quote retail, for people to feel more comfortable to take action. And with Coinbase Wallet, I think it's just going to streamline a lot of the processes.
Yeah, and before we get Signal's take, real quick, I just feel like this is directionally moving towards disrupting the mortgage industry. That doesn't mean it's going to happen in the next 2 years. I mean, like 8 years from now, because if you've done a mortgage refi or if you've done like a traditional mortgage, you know that it is like this. It's just so dumb. Like if you're familiar with like crypto technology and like just using modern financial technology, aka crypto, and then you go through like the mortgage process, you're like, this is like preposterous, So, but it's going to take a long time again. But like Easy said, like something on Coinbase, a trusted entity, not decentralized entity. That's the important thing to think of. It's not a decentralized entity. And by the way, the only true decentralized entity in the kind of broad crypto ecosystem is Bitcoin anyway. So it's not that everything needs to be decentralized, right? Because actually only Bitcoin truly is. So it's like, it's okay to have centralized entities that are trusted, that push infrastructure forward. And in fact, you need that. What if we didn't have the centralized entity of Coinbase or the centralized entity of Kraken so that you can buy and sell tokens? What the hell would you do? You want to just go peer to peer? That's what you want to do? I got to trust that if I send something to Ray, he's going to send it back, or Ray's going to escrow something for me and Sig so that we can trade our money back and forth. Like, I think I'm good on that. I think I'm good with the Coinbase centralized entity to acquire my Bitcoin, and then I can withdraw it off of Coinbase so I can custody it myself in a truly decentralized way. But anyway, Sig, any thoughts on this?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think in the sort of micro sense, this might not seem like a big thing, but in the macro sense, like Pio saying, they are moving in the direction you would want them to move, given the infrastructure they are laying. And if you look globally, I can't think of another global entity of this size who is fighting for the crypto industry and at the same time is building the rails of the crypto industry, and sort of like Brian Armstrong being an ambassador for the entire space globally, like speaking to different governments. And I think you're absolutely right. When because there's no one left, it's not going to be FTX, it's not going to be Binance, it's not going to be any of the names that for the last sort of 5 to 10 years have been the household names of the crypto space. I think Coinbase will become that name, and hopefully will actually change the future of crypto for the small retail person to come in and be able to use it in a way which you're talking about, Pio, in something like mortgages or personal finance, just in a way which is more accessible for the everyday person. So while this story might not seem, that important today, if you're looking like the macro of what Coinbase is doing, their role is incredibly important. So I really like this story.
Absolutely. And so real quick, we got Sean P representing the kind of typical crypto mindset, which is in this situation, thinking about things more for right now. When I talk about like disrupting the mortgage industry, I'm talking about like 8 years from now, like literally like 9 years from now, where we'll be at with the development of this. Are we ready to do that today? Absolutely not. Right. So I thought I kind of would reiterate that. We're talking about 8 to 12 years from now, which obviously is more than 1 year or more than 2 years. It takes a long time for this stuff to settle. We just got Bitcoin ETFs 15 years in. We had an exchange meltdown scenario 2 years ago where FTX went under and it was a top 3 global exchange. So yeah, we got to wait another 8 to 12 years before we can properly disrupt the mortgage industry when you think about how long it takes for this stuff to go. Real quick, UK crypto legislation. The UK introduces legislation to categorize crypto and NFTs as personal property. The bill, if passed, creates a third category of personal property, expanding beyond the current classifications of things in possession and things in action. The new category will encompass certain digital assets, providing them with clear legal recognition and protection. So Michael Saylor would appreciate this one. Signal, any thoughts on this as a UK native before we move on? We can do it real quick, but what do you think of this? I mean, all of a sudden the UK is crypto forward. What's going on?
I know. I'm actually astounded, given the new government is Labour and they've already done this, and they're going to try and push it through. Look, I think from what this means for sort of day-to-day holdings for the individual person, that will become clearer sort of within the next 12 months. But what I do like about this is you're just getting regulatory clarity that everyone in the United States, for example, is really wanting and holding and just can't seem to get, while the UK is actually going in a direction which is quite surprising. That doesn't mean that this is a good thing. They could come out and say, crypto under personal property is going to be taxed at a disgusting number. Like, I don't know if they're going to do that, or if they're not going to do that. It could mean that if you were to get a divorce, your wife or husband could take all your crypto. It obviously has different implications, but I just think the positive thing to take away from this is that countries, and specifically the UK here, is moving towards regulatory clarity, which is what the industry so badly needs, which means that people who hold crypto can now decide where those assets should sit for tax and personal purposes.
Yeah, if they try to pull some property tax bullshit against it, which somebody certainly will, and I would not put it past the UK, I think that self-custody is just going to become a huge thing, and it'll almost like become normal for people to try to hide their Bitcoin and their crypto from the government, because it'll just like, they're just going to try to nerf the whole thing. But then like people that live in Dubai or people that live in Portugal, people that live in jurisdictions that are like actually crypto forward will benefit. So everyone will in the UK will be like, well, screw that. I'm not going to I'm just going to self-custody my Bitcoin and my crypto. Well, look, moving on, we got our Karate Combat fight pick. So in this segment, we're going to go through the Karate Combat fight card for next week. We are going to make our picks on for the top matchups here going into it. Go to app.karate.com to follow along with us and make your picks on the app. Ray, let's run through the influencer fights. How about that? So the influencer fights are a lot of fun, ladies and gentlemen. We'll start with the bottom of the card and we'll make our way up to the main event, which is Blonde Broker versus Ashley Decan. So we got Jenna X versus Young Snack. We got some interesting names here of these influencers. Young Snack. Easy. Have you been paying attention to any of the back and forth between these two?
I have not been keeping tabs on Gen X or Young Snack. Personally, this is a fight that has gone under the radar for me. So I'm not sure. Have you seen any fight footage from either camp, Pia? Have you gotten the inside baseball, the inside scoop on these two athletes?
So because there's not an abundance of tape on these two, I actually did not make a video for them. I made 3 videos for some of the other influencer fights, but not this one in particular. There is, if I'm not mistaken, a little bit of tape on Jenna X, where she's, hitting pads in the gym. But this is a flyer, and if you look, it's literally a 50-50 bet right now. Here's some Jenna X content. If you go to Media Ray, real quick, if you go to Media, the Media tab, you might be able to, find a little bit. If you go down, there's some like workout, selfies, like gym selfies. Look at that 14-second one right there on the right. This one might have a little bit if you fast forward in it. Here we go. It's a little bit of bag work. There isn't anything there's other content too. It's not just this video, but if there's, there's not a lot to go off of for these two fighters. Look at that one right there. Yeah, let's do this one. Okay. Little flying knee, not exactly Jorge Masvidal. Yeah. So, okay. So check it out. So there's a lot to be desired with the technique of this.
I may have to go to the opposite side on this one. Maybe I take a flyer on Young Snack.
I'm going to go with Young Snack as well, mainly because of the name. I love the name Young Snack. And also I'm going to say her right hand is actually here. It's actually like in a, the Gen X, her right hand's a bit too far away from her face for me. So, and the footage, we really don't have much to go on here. So I'm going to go on her stance and her footage, and Young Snack seems to look better in the picture.
I'll go with Young Snack.
Perspective.
Yep, I'm gonna go with Young Snack. Take a flyer on that. Ray, what are you thinking?
I'm gonna go with Jenna X. I think, I mean, that looked pretty bad, but this just looks. I mean, this looks like there's form, but there's just not a lot of not a lot energy of power. Here. Yeah, no energy here.
Yeah, I mean, this is a flyer, man. You actually never know what's going to happen. They're clearly both new to the sport. So I love Ray with the contrarian take. He's going to go with Jenna X because of that energy. She might prove us all wrong. Absolutely. There wasn't enough tape for me to make a video on this one, but maybe I circle back.
Yeah, there's one goof flying knee kick on one side. It's a little difficult to feel strongly on either page here. So
it was a tough one. So here we go. So Shiny D versus Bama. So I did make a video on these two gentlemen, and I'm going to be publishing it. So Bama fought at the Austin card against Phil Russell, or actually, sorry, the Nashville card against Phil Russell. He's a purple belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, as Phil Russell also is. So it's essentially two high-level jiu-jitsu guys fighting each other on the last card. Bama also has some footage of him training Muay Thai. He's clearly less experienced with it. He's also smoking marijuana in the footage, which is interesting. He's got a blunt in his mouth as he's training. He's also a bit of a wild man. He was behind
smoking in this picture.
He's smoking in the picture. There you go. And wearing a cowboy hat. He also was he was a bit of a, dare I say, loudmouth during the actual high-level jiu-jitsu bouts on the real card of Karate Combat at the beginning. He was dissatisfied with the level of engagement between the two pretty big actual professional jiu-jitsu practitioners. I think it might have been heavyweight. If it wasn't heavyweight, it was definitely light heavyweight. These guys were huge, and especially since everybody in jiu-jitsu does steroids, these were two roided out monsters with tattoos going at each other in jiu-jitsu. Bama was just talking smack right behind me to the guys, complaining about the lack of activity. So he is definitely a bit of a wild man. If you watch his fight against Phil Russell, he was trying to hurt Phil Russell. He knocked him down a couple times. He almost KO'd Phil Russell. He ended up technically losing the fight by decision, but it was a very close fight. If his Muay Thai technique was better, he would have been oh, look at this edit right here. Yeah, he is a member of the Harry Potter Obama Sonic 10 Inu community, the ticker Bitcoin community. There were some big moments for Bama in this fight. And if he was just better at Muay Thai, is the way I'd sum it up, he would have probably had a head kick knockout against Phil Russell, because he had some head kick opportunities.
I remember this fight, dude. I felt that Bama won this.
It was a good fight. So I mean, he's aggressive, man, and he's training. This guy's Shiny D. This guy might take steroids. This guy's like I think he lives in Bali or a similar country like that. I think he's one of these nomad solo entrepreneur people. I'm not certain on that, but he lives in like a tropical environment. He's doing videos with attractive women all the time. He's chiseled and clearly takes health like super duper serious. He's got one video of kickboxing, Ray. If you can dig it up from his profile, he's got one video where he's working out on a bag, and he looks pretty good. So I think he's bigger than Bama. He might do steroids. He takes his health probably way more seriously. I mean, if you're scrolling down, you're just going to see a ton of like shirtless pics of him where he's just looking chiseled. You're going to have to go way down.
Him with a gun in his mouth?
Yeah, I think he's like a content creator or something. Go back to that, Ray. Scroll all the way down. Find the bag video real quick. There's one video of him working on the heavy bag. You might have to scroll a little bit to find it. But the guy's in really good shape, and I wouldn't ever go with someone in a fight just based on their physique and their good shape. But this bag work video showed me that he's definitely been training for a while. I don't know how much he spars, but he's been training for a while and has good kickboxing technique and has a lot of power. He throws his weight into his strikes for sure. It might be that one, Ray, but So the guy's got like actual kickboxing technique. He's for sure trained like for a while. You can just tell the way that he throws his punches and kicks. There's one more video actually besides this one. He doesn't show that much, and he's just kind of yelling in this one. If you keep going down, there's one more, Ray. But in my video, spoiler alert, I guess I'm leaking my pick ahead of it. I actually went with this guy, that one right there. That's 6 seconds long, Ray. Just real, actual, athletic boxing technique. I think the commentary I had in my video is that his hands look great, because they do. And the only thing I would have liked to see
was combo with the two hooks is clean, man. Good follow through too. Like that's clean.
Super clean. My only feedback on the kicks was I feel like he's newer to kicking. Maybe he trained boxing for a while, then got into kicks. And there's not a lot of spring in between the second and the third kick. Like if you train Muay Thai, you want to have some real bounce in between those kicks and go kick to the leg, kick to the body, or kick to the head really fast. But I mean, he looks pretty good, and he's definitely the bigger man out of the two, I have to think, and definitely takes health more seriously. So I went with Shiny D. So that's my lengthy analysis on this. I'll leave it to you guys for the rest.
Give me Bama, baby.
Okay.
Give me Bama.
Go with the wild man.
I like the craziness. I like the guy who's going to be stoned out of his mind at weigh-ins and probably into the fight. He rocks with the Bitcoin, Harry Potter, Obama Sonic 10 Inu community, and those guys actually smoke crack. You can never doubt a man who smokes crack.
Wait, it's more. They do?
I think they live stream themselves smoking crack.
Yeah. That's
I
how
think
they
the
went
one guy
viral
was doing like a
time.
24/7 live stream of himself. He'd be sleeping. You could just watch him. He had like camera on himself like for like months.
That's the guy that fought BitBoy?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. So that was impressive because it was two guys who have done crack fighting in one fight between BitBoy and the Harry Potter Obama Sonic 10 Inu guy. So yeah, pretty impressive, really. But I'm gonna go with Bama here. He's got the fight under his belt. We're gonna see Shiny D's first fight. I don't know how well it's gonna be. I mean, Shiny D, the hands were that 4-piece combo. Hold the sides. That was clean. I'll give him that. But we've seen Bama in the ring. He's not scared to take a punch. That's the thing. He's not scared to take a punch.
And he's aggressive.
His hands up once.
And he's long. and he's long.
Yeah.
So that Bama's got a lot going, and he's a purple belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So I think on paper he is for sure a higher level martial artist than Shiny D. And if he could use that, I would just say, oh well, he's going to strangle him. He's going to strangle Shiny D. It's a wrap. But you can't do that in the IFC. Signal, what are you thinking?
I'm going to go with Bama. I like his reach. I like his height. And yeah, like Shiny D, I feel like he's more of a showman. And I like the experience of Bama. So I'm going to go with Bama for this pick. And actually, I am going to change. Can I change to Gen X afterwards? Actually, because I saw Young Snack's video after Gen X. So I picked Young Snack. Then I saw the video and I was like, like, best wishes to her, but she needs more energy in the ring than what was in that video. So I am going to switch to Gen X and Bama.
Young Snack's such a challenging name. But yeah, well, I like the pick switch after you saw Jenna X's aggression. Self-proclaimed bored and violent person, Jenna X, by the way, if you've seen some of the content coming out ahead of this fight. Ray, your pick for Shiny D versus Bama before we move on.
I'm going with the experience, and I'm going to take Bama.
All right. I love it. I love it. Siding with activity, always a good move. So John Hook and Mike Lau, we basically don't have any footage on this. We can make a blind pick. There's no footage from John Hook. I was DMing John Hook. There's no footage. We're also in talks with Play Amber, which is awesome. So big shout out.
I'm taking John Hook.
All right. I'm taking him too. I'm taking John Hook. All we have for Mike Lau is we have one promotional like sizzle reel, and we have like a long form post where he says like he broke up with his or he had like a bad breakup, so he needs this to like, you know, take out some of that energy, which is obviously a good thing to hear. But I'm gonna go with John Hook. I'm gonna go with the mystery man that we have zero tape on. Yeah, Ray or Sig, who do we got?
I'm gonna go with Mike Lau because I like his hat.
Okay, nice.
I think just John Hook looks a bit more menacing for this fight.
Good stuff. Next one, the co-main event here. This is Barney versus Tactical Investing. A very experienced Barney. We saw Ray pulling up Barney's tape that he's put out. There's plenty of tape on Barney. You can watch this fight against Ansem where he connects flush with Ansem many, many times. This new tape, he is looking sharp as a tack. He's looking directionally toward an amateur or professional boxer with his boxing skills. Keep in mind, this is a karate fight, so it is knees and kicks are involved. No elbows yet, but I do believe they're talking about getting.
They have a vote right now for elbows. I believe that's still ongoing. If that comes in, oh man, we're going to see some nasty knockouts.
Yep, no elbows yet. But yes, we have Barney's recent tape where he's looking sharp as a tack. We have an example of Tactical Investing already fighting in the pit in the IFC on a previous card a little while back. The analysis that I put forward in the video that I published is that Barney's hands obviously look incredibly sharp, and he's the more experienced martial artist now, taking several fights over the past 3 years. He connected with Ansem many times flush. You guys have seen the meme of Ansem eating like the right hand from Barney, and like the sweat's blowing off his face. It's a real right hand. But Barney not only didn't knock him out, but he never even knocked him down. However, that's with boxing gloves. That's with whatever 12-ounce gloves. These are 4-ounce gloves. If you put 4-ounce gloves on somebody, you're going to knock them down. So in this first fight with Tactical Investing against this other guy, Tech Hustler, first of all, this guy, Tech Hustler, I have to think weighs much more than Barney does. The first round of this fight is pretty pedestrian. What's his name? Tactical Investing does throw kicks in the fight. And so that's kind of rare in the Influencer Fight Club. We saw Nick Carter do it, but a lot of people more or less don't throw kicks. They only throw hands, but his kicks don't look that good. I don't think we're going to see a head kick knockout or a stoppage from leg kicks. In the first fight, Tactical Investing is actually on his heels, and he takes a lot of big shots from his opponent. So he can definitely eat a punch in those 4-ounce gloves. He never goes down. In the second round, he lands a huge right hand and puts his opponent on his ass. He knocks him down hard, and that's a very big dude. So if he lands that on Barney, the smaller dude, Barney could go down. But what I ended up going with is I went with Barney because he just is technically more sound with his boxing. And if Barney lands on Tactical Investing in those 4-ounce gloves, I don't think it's going to be like Ansem. I think he's going to KO him. So I went with Barney based on the boxing skills, the 4-ounce gloves, Is he as big as the guy that just put hands on tactical investing and couldn't knock him down? No, but I mean, this is crisp technique.
Dude, Barney's footwork is good too, man. He's 3-0, by the way. You know that, right? In Crypto Fight Night, 3-0.
He's looking good, man.
So Ansem was his third fight. I'm going Barney, man. He's got the experience. I know you're saying it's karate, so there's going to be kicks, but this dude's got hands, man. It sometimes, even though if maybe there's not enough power behind it to knock the guy down, if you get punched in the face enough, you're going to be just worn out, man. I'm telling you. And this guy, Barney's hands look good in this. Fast feet. All in all, this is probably the cleanest boxing structure we've seen from anyone on the IFC so far.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Ray, Sig.
I don't know. I mean, Barney fought Ansem, right? And like Ansem looked like he was a human being controlled by an alien for like the first time ever, and he didn't knock him out. So I don't know if I can take Barney, even though this looks nice and crisp. Like I know Ansem's like larger, has the reach, but it just like after watching that, I just don't have the faith that like Barney's going to be able to knock out tactical investing. And I think that tactical investing with like his experience and the his size advantage is gonna take it down.
That's juicy. That's juicy. Sig.
That's exactly how I was thinking. I was thinking like Ray, because Ansem isn't the best fighter. Like I would have expected Barney to knock out Ansem. Because originally I thought Ansem would win because he's so much taller and has longer reach. But the fact that this guy didn't made me think, okay, then how much of a good fighter he is. The other guy looks heavier as well, and I like that you said he can take a punch. So my money's on tactical investor, and he has 3 years experience as well. So I think that definitely counts in the ring.
Love to hear it. Absolutely. And we got this guy, user not W. I think he's a new commenter. I'm not sure I'm familiar with him ever commenting. He said that Barney went easy on Ansem. I'm going to go ahead and disagree. I think he was literally trying as hard as he possibly could to knock him out, because that's generally what you do when you're in a boxing match and you're just connecting with your opponent's face over and over again. Last fight, the headline fight. This is Ashley Decan versus Blonde Broker. The headline fight. Everybody is looking forward to this one. Look, both of these girls, content creators in the space, both stand-up ladies, very, very cool people. Not going to make any friends making a pick between the two of them, but you have to do it, right? So I haven't published my video on them yet. I guess I'm going to leak my pick. You know, the whole internet was really waiting for my pick here. So we're going to leak it and probably set the world ablaze. So look, here's the facts. Blonde Broker was a D1 athlete. She was a D1 track and field athlete at one of the big schools in Texas. That's pretty fucking impressive. Not a lot of people can say that. I wonder how many people watching this show right now could compete with that in terms of athletic prowess, right? That's a big deal. Ashley got into very, very good shape for this. She looks great. She's been training nonstop. She said that she feels the best that she ever has. She's looking good. When you look at the film, I have to go with Blonde Broker. I have to go with Blonde Broker. She's training with James Vick, who's a former top 10 UFC fighter in his weight class, who actually fought Justin Gaethje, who's one of the biggest names in the sport. And she's training her ass off. She looks aggressive. Most importantly, it looks like her athletic background is translating well to her striking. Her striking's looking good. She looks like she's an actual martial artist ahead of this fight. Starting from zero with martial arts is really, really hard. And when you only have a couple of months, which, you know, Nick Carter only had a couple of months. A lot of people only have a couple of months here when they go into this IFC. They're starting from zero. Getting good at something starting from zero is brutal. I did volleyball last night again, and I'm like, dude, it's just going to take me so long to get up to speed with this fucking sport. It's a sport. That's like if I said I'm going to just start playing hockey tomorrow when I've never played hockey. It's just like, how the hell are you going to even do that? Given where they're at now, even though I've seen Ashley make major improvement over the month of August, I just have to look at where they're at, and I got to go with Blonde Broker. That's my pick.
Is there any footage of?
There's footage. So this is Ashley. This is where she's at. This is our most recent Ashley footage. There's this, and there's one where she goes like with 7 or 8 different people, you know, many different rounds, right? If you want to pull that one up. Blonde Broker actually maybe hasn't it's before this, right? Go to Blonde Broker's profile real quick. I just want to see if her thing is even published, because it might not be. She sent it to me privately, but it might not be published.
I looked for it. I didn't see anything.
So there's an unpublished video of Blonde Broker coming. that I think is compelling. And so that's all we can go off of. There's not a lot of footage on either girl. Go back to Ashley. She recently published a video of her in like basically going through like a little bit of a gauntlet with different people that she's sparring with. Scroll down a little bit. Not sure, dude. Twitter's so bad when it comes to content. This is gonna get better. It will get better, but it's preposterous right now. That's the video right there, right on the left, 1 minute and 19 seconds. So this is where she basically spars with a bunch of different people. Yeah, Twitter's so bad with content, just side note, and it's like got to get better because it's preposterous. Like videos that we made on Nick's channel that have 20 million views, you'll never see again. You'll never find. Whereas if I go to somebody's Instagram profile or YouTube channel, I can go and dig out old videos in an easy way. Twitter is just set up in a horrible way right now for video. If they're claiming to be a video platform, they're really going to have to make some serious improvements. And I think it's going to take a while, but this is essentially all the footage that we have to go off of for Ashley. And then we have unpublished footage from Blonde Broker that I'm just giving you my opinion on. So you guys can make the calls based on what you're seeing. And then we'll move on to the next segment.
I think it's pretty hard to, to pick between the two if you haven't seen footage of each player. I'm going to go with the Blonde Brokers simply because when you're fighting, your fitness is so important. Like people hear 3 minutes, in a ring and they think, oh, I could be in there for 3 minutes. But when you're in there and you're getting your face smashed in and your heart rate has spiked to its hardest and you're trying to catch your breath, you really need to have a strong, cardiovascular and sort of like strength system. And if Blonde Broker had that from her D1 days, as you were saying, Pio, I'm going to go with her just because of her fitness and her athletic ability.
Very nice.
I think I'm going to follow Sig here. I'm going to go with Blonde Broker. I just didn't see enough out of Ashley in those videos. So I'm going to go with the unknown and take a risk. I know Pio has the inside info here, so I'm going to follow right along.
Pio didn't lose last time. He's not going to lose this time. I'm riding with P Dog. Give me Blonde Broker in this fight.
All right, there you have it. Love both you ladies. Obviously you're not going to make any friends making fight picks. I guess this is what John Anik and Kenny Florian and Joe Rogan deal with, doing it at the highest level. Quickly before we move on, Justin the Mind said, make your best content easier to find. Well, if you're making content on a regular basis and you're trying to do some really great shit, it's still just going to be flat out impossible to see content that you made earlier this year. It's just not going to happen because if you make videos every single week and you're putting your best content forward and using the highlights tab, as Elon said on Twitter, you're still going to have to scroll all the way down. I was working with a filmmaker in person the other day, trying to show him our old stuff. And if you click the wrong button, it totally resets the highlights tab. And I'm like, oh shit, I got to go back to fucking March to get to this content. Anyway, last segment, Meme Coin Monday here. Recap of picks from last time. We had me losing $1.20, Easy losing $5.40, Signal up $88 with her picks of Mother and Kobe. Kobe, the big winner there, $73 on Kobe. And then Ray down $27.3. Ray, the big loser. Ray not knowing how to trade meme coins. Oh, I'm just messing with you.
Not at all. You skipped my Ray's trade yesterday, which was a 2Xer.
Oh,
what was it? What'd you hit yesterday?
Now all we see is this loss.
I definitely didn't. I just missed it. I would have remembered. I love raised trades. Raised trades was my idea. So obviously I want to make sure that we're doing raised trades. So if there's ever a raised trades, like interrupt me and be like raised trades. What was it yesterday?
It was the Flies token, the X copy wrap token from his open edition. I shared it in the Bedoggers Discord. Did a nice little 2X.
Especially on the X copy volume we've been seeing across the board. That's a nice beta play that many people probably ignored.
Yep, exactly. It hadn't moved yet. And of course I didn't buy it. I called the race trade, but then actually didn't trade it. And now it's 2X. So now I'm sitting here and wondering if I should buy now.
Well, there we go. So look, quickly, let's run through this, guys. 3 picks from each person, meme coin predictions for while we're traveling. So this is a long time horizon for meme coins. Wow. So over the next couple of weeks. So maybe Easy can lead 3 meme coin picks.
Give me FWOG, because it's over 2 weeks, right?
Yep.
So until we're back, basically the last week of September. Give me FWOG. I like FWOG here. Give me, oh man, this is tough because it's 2 full calendar weeks. Pure meme coin. Give me MOG. Give me Fwog. I like both of those. And give me no chill on AVAX.
Wow, look at this pick.
Yeah, we're pulling them out. Two majors, one on ETH, one on AVAX, and then one that I think with Fwog. I think Fwog finally breaks over 100 million.
Okay, Signal.
I'm gonna stick with Kobe. I'm also gonna have Frog, and last one. Can you come back to me for last one? Come back to me for my last pick.
Ray?
I'm going to go with some base coins here with the cbBTC liquidity potentially unlock. So I'll take Brett and I'll take DGen. DGen being the Farcaster token.
Wow.
And a third one, we talked about this yesterday. I like taking coins from my watch list that are down on the day. So I'm just pulling up my watch list real quick, and then I'll give you that one. So let's see here. It's going to be something terrible. I know. I'm just going to pick the top one, the top loser of the day for my watch list, and let's see how bad it is. We're going to take Vista, Ether Vista, the launch
the
pad.
new pump fund competitor on ETH. Okay.
I'm going to go Mog, DGen, and then people seem interested in this Fwog. Let's go Fwog.
Why are you taking DGen on base?
Because I'm making a random ass pick.
Okay, at least you're. Yeah, I'm gonna be brutally honest with you. Please pick a different one. Like, I mean this in the most sincere way possible. DGen had like a terrible hack. Yeah, but Ray may have some alternative idea here. I'm trying to help you, not Ray. I want to see Ray burn here.
Fine,
I will not touch DGen.
I'll go Kobe.
I like that. Okay, I like that.
I'm gonna add Michi as my third.
Michi, sleeper Solana cat pick, former Ansem heavy shill. Okay,
yeah,
like that.
All right, locked in for 2 weeks. This will be interesting.
There we go. Well, look, ladies and gentlemen, you just heard the picks on Meme Coin Monday. You can make your own picks and follow along. That's our show for today. We do the show Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern time each and every week. Available wherever you get your podcasts, Apple and Spotify podcasts. Available on Twitter Spaces, both X platform video and the Twitter Spaces application. YouTube also, if you want to watch the show, you can also watch it on X platform video, but definitely on YouTube. You can go to YouTube and hit the like button and the subscribe button. It really helps us with our channel. Anyway, thanks for listening, everyone. We will be back tomorrow to close out the week.